A Democrat senator resigns his post. Why would he do that? They have a majority. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. That's Prospector Johnny. And this week, well, we left off last week thinking that things were going to calm down a little bit, that maybe the southern states would not take the election results to such a bad degree. But, well, Johnny, I got some bad news for you.
No, what do you mean?
Well, the week's going to start on November 9th when President James Buchanan calls a meeting of his cabinet to come up with an idea for the State of the Union. So his last State of the Union address,
Right.
his last couple of months in office.
On his way out.
On my way out. How am I gonna calm things down? How are we gonna keep things from going to secession? James Buchanan himself, a Democrat, was against secession, but really at this point didn't know how he could avoid it. So he calls his cabinet together and says, "Hey, ideas. Let's have a talk."
So basically, he was like, "I don't want to secede, but it's looking like it's going in that direction." And then was he looking for? Is he looking for ideas to
He's looking for input
not
from
secede, or what do we do when
He's looking
secession happens?
yes. He's looking for input from his cabinet. Like, if secession happens, what do we do? How do we avoid secession? What are your guys' ideas?
That's what I want to know. How do we avoid it?
So General Winfield Scott, well, he advised that we should just go ahead and split the U.S. into 4 separate countries.
Whoa.
That was his advice.
Okay, real talk. I've recommended 5, but
Well,
4 is good too.
He's saying 4. Buchanan himself proposes having a general convention of all the states to try to see if there's some kind of compromise that can be made.
Okay.
Senator of the state, Lewis Cass, spoke in favor of the Union and condemned compromise and secession altogether. Says, no, we don't want to do that. No secession, no compromise. You lost the election, get over it.
Right. United States of America.
United States of America. The Attorney General Jeremiah Sullivan said, yeah, why don't we use military force to be sent down to Charleston to quash any talks of secession at all? We'll just use our might.
So they're just going to send the military out?
We're going to send the military down to Charleston in South Carolina
to make
calm
people
things
calm down?
By military might. Yes, that's his.
Okay, well, I hope
advice.
that
Doesn't backfire.
That seems ill-advised. I feel like military is just going to make people like more amped, right? Like nervous, on edge, thinking that maybe the U.S. government's out to get them.
That was followed up by Secretary of the Treasury, Hal Cobb, who thought that disunion was not only necessary, it was just and legal. So that's not helping the whole let's send the military down there argument. Secretary of the Interior, Jacob Thomas, thought that a show of force would actually be counterintuitive. If we show force, it's going to push the southern states into seceding, so let's not send the military, let's
see, I'm kind of with him because it's like sending the military. You're basically saying, "All right, here's our war. Here are our soldiers. Where are yours?"
Yeah, what are you going to do about it? Yeah. Secretary of the War, John Floyd, was opposed to secession because he thought that Lincoln administration would just go ahead and fail. So, not that he thought that slavery was a bad thing or that it was a good thing or secession was good or bad. He just thought, we don't need to worry about it. Lincoln's, his administration is going to fail and fall on his face. So
he doesn't think Lincoln's going to be able to do anything.
He just says, just wait.
Wait it out.
Wait it out. So the end result is that his cabinet is pretty much split 50-50 versus secession or trying to avoid secession. So no consensus is made. Nothing is accomplished. This cabinet meeting was pretty much useless.
Man.
On November 10th.
I'll hope most cabinet meetings aren't like that. I assume most of them, they come to
some
resolutions
kind of
and figure things out.
On November 10th, South Carolina would pass a law for a convention to be held on December 17th to consider the question of secession. So the state of South Carolina is not helping to calm things down. They're not in a wait-and-see moment.
Wait, South Carolina is now trying to leave?
Or
to decide 10th, to talk about
to talk about leaving, yes. Yes, South Carolina has we decided that in a month we're going to sit down and have a conversation about this.
No, we can't. No, 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 no. They just because of a president was elected,
Just because Lincoln was elected.
and
Yes.
they're gonna try and secede.
This is followed up by
That's
U.S. South Carolina's U.S. Senator James Chestnut, who is going to go ahead and resign his seat of the Senate. Which again, I'm not understanding this move because
okay.
for the Democrats, they still they have the majority in the Senate.
Yep.
They have the majority in the House.
Yep.
Why are you seceding a seat that's going to give Republicans more say? Keep your seat. Just vote against them. Like we have, the Democrats have the majority.
He's a secret Republican. That's what it is.
Well, he might be. Well, the situation on the 11th makes it even worse because another South Carolina senator, James Hammond, would also resign his post. And on November 12th, the New York, they start to experience heavy loss in stocks where all of a sudden there's a flood in sales and the stock market starts to hit all-time lows. And part of this has to do with New York having a lot of profits in the South, in the slave cotton and the slave tobacco. And with Lincoln being elected, there's a thought that this would spike prices. So everybody was starting to sell their shares while their shares still had some value to them. November 13th, South Carolina now votes to raise 10,000 volunteers for the defense of the state if the federal government were to send military force down to them.
All right, so now they're basically coming in and being like, all right, when you come down here with whatever army you're going to bring and tell us that we're not allowed to secede or keep the peace or whatever, we're going to have people here now. They're setting up their army.
Just in case, yes. So
Tom, this doesn't sound like it's
calming down.
No, things are getting worse. It's getting more hostile.
Yes, I was hopeful, but so far, it really doesn't seem like it's.
I mean, South Carolina's acting quick. It's been a week, and already they are planning on talking about whether or not they want to see. They want to secede if they're talking like that.
Yeah, they're planning on seceding.
Where are they gonna go?
And
back to England?
Well, they're planning on having a vote to secede, and they're planning on raising an army as of right now. Lincoln is asked to question or to comment on the situation that's going around. Say, hey, what's your views on slavery? What's your views on the South's position right now? What's your views that's going on in South Carolina? Lincoln says, and I quote, I could say nothing which I have not already said and which is not already in print and open for the inspection of all. Essentially, his position is, I've said everything I can say. You guys are going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying. He's doing the presidential thing. He's trying to calm everybody down. Like, cause all these reporters are out here trying to get their hot, little sound bites and everything to put on in their newspapers, and he's basically saying, "I'm not going to give that to you. We've been through." I've already
said it. Yes, and to be fair to Lincoln, he's the president-elect. He's been elected president, but he has not taken over the government yet. It's still
December. It's November. Yeah, it's not until January.
Yes,
he takes over.
He's got there's 2 months left of Buchanan. Buchanan can hopefully calm things down before Lincoln even gets into position.
I mean, it's his job to right now, right?
I have to reiterate to everybody, in a sense of calm, Lincoln has never said in any of his elections that he's going to end slavery. He's never said that he's going to free all the black people. What he has said is that I will not let slavery expand into the new territories where the current slave states can hold their slaves. We're going to stop it there. There's going to be no expansion of slavery.
So out where I'm at, nothing.
Yeah. So out where you're at, out there in the
I don't get slave. So if I find a hotbed of gold, I can't have slaves now because of Lincoln to go and start mining in my gold.
Johnny, I know you're not the best prospector, but I'm assuming you're out in California right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm working my way out there. I'm in Oklahoma, but I'm working my way.
Yeah, so what Lincoln is trying to do is ensure that the territories, before they become states, there are no new states that become slave states. That's what Lincoln is trying to do. So for you, prospector, in Oregon, while there might be slaves there now, his goal is that there won't be slaves there when Oregon becomes an official state. And I'm going to end this week, prospector, On not so much of a high note here, I have to just report it as it is. On November 15th, U.S. Navy Lieutenant T.A. Craven informs Washington that, quote, due to the deplorable conditions of affairs in the southern states, I will proceed to take moves to guard Fort Taylor at the Key West and Fort Jefferson on Dry Tortugas, Florida, from possible seizure by any southern states. So
Hold up.
we now have a naval officer who's taken it upon himself without any orders from President Buchanan to ensure that these forts in Florida are secure from any possible seizure of southern states.
I mean, this sounds like I don't want to say it. I don't want to curse anything, but it sounds like we're getting ready for a war.
It sounds like
it sounds like that naval officer, whatever he was, he's prepping for something. He's seeing a couple steps ahead of everybody else, right? Like he's planning ahead for war.
It sounds like it, and I'm just hypothesizing here. I have no idea what's going to actually happen. If those forts off of Florida, it seems like he's making the move. If I take these forts and keep these forts, that it'll at least give a bouncing off point for potential invasions of the South if the South does secede, or at least potential points where I can ensure a embargo, for say, of any state that would be in rebellion. So I get his logic on why he's moving to those forts, but I really you are not a commanding officer that should be making that decision.
I mean, and so I mean, we're not at war. Nobody's seceded.
No, there's no secession yet. Although South Carolina is talking about
they're talking about it. We talk about all sorts of things. That doesn't mean they're going to do it. They're upset after the election. Of course they are.
That's the first time a Republican has ever been elected, so that is new. It is concerning.
Yeah.
Democrats have had the last few elections, so and I can understand. There's a lot of money to be had right now in the South, so economically speaking, is it the best move for a country to move against slavery? I don't know.
Well, I mean, good luck keeping your economy up if you don't have slavery. Like, what are you going to do?
It's hurting New York already. The stock market's already falling, so hopefully, Johnny, that next week things will calm down. But right now, my hope from last week isn't panning out very well.
Yeah, I'm not giving up.
That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and join us on our other forums of Historic Hindsight and This Week in History.